Good morning, guys. Welcome in. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Good morning. 200 likes and I will donate. Oh, we're going to hold you to that, Alex. Welcome in, everybody. Spliff, James the Builder, DJ, Steven. Welcome in, guys. How is everybody doing? Apple looks good. We have an Apple event today in California, in Cupertino, right? It's in Cupertino, California, right? I think I'm correct about that, but I could be wrong. We'll talk about the Apple event today. Welcome in. 10K week, sure, you'll do it, man. Nate, you got it. Oh, it's not in Cupertino anymore. Okay, it's somewhere else. Welcome in. Welcome in, guys. Happy Tuesday. How was the market for you yesterday? It was decent. I caught a little bit of S&P, a little bit of SPY on a just trend-based trade over 65.08. Caught a little bit of Amazon yesterday as well while I was on the go. I sneakily caught a little bit of hood too. I did a little bit of hood entries yesterday, but most of my P&L actually came from SPY and Amazon yesterday. So nothing crazy for me, but it was a day, right? And it was a session. We had a nice little session yesterday. Market was mostly compressed throughout the intraday action. My first trade yesterday was, my first signal yesterday was like after 11 o'clock, like it was 11:30. So it was a little bit of a slower day yesterday, but makes sense, right? Market is a little choppy, it was consolidated. And I think this is normal. We should expect this today as well. And just because there's a choppy market, it doesn't mean you take no trades. Okay, there some sectors are choppy, but there are others that are not choppy. Okay, so market may be choppy, but we can find value. It's just how willing and able are you to find said value, right? For example, you may say market's choppy, but take a second and look at Robinhood stock yesterday. Okay, look at Hood. Hood was one of our top watches we mentioned on live before we hopped off. Look at SPY, right? SPY had value yesterday. It was just a matter of how much time did you want to give it, right? Now, obviously, certain days have more value than others, and you can't just say yesterday was a value-packed day because it wasn't a value-packed day. But there is value in every day, right? Even if it's a choppy session, there's going to be something moving. Okay, so that's the most important thing is showing up every day. It doesn't matter what events, what Econ did, what BS we have that session. It's about showing up and being prepared because there's going to be something moving that session, right? So that being said, welcome in, guys. It's 8:36 a.m. If you want to know something interesting, my mouse is charging right now. So right now it's at 1% charge before I started this webinar. And I'm hoping now it's at least 5%. That's why I'm not moving my mouse right now because it's literally charging as I'm stalling to jump into charts this morning. So that's what's happening. I can't lie to you guys, but we are probably ready to go. So let's dive into it. Let's see. We're gonna find out because if my mouse dies halfway through this, you guys are gonna see something interesting. So right now, what are we at right now? Let's see if I can click over here. Bam. We're at 5%. We're good. We're at 5%. We're absolutely awesome. So we're good to go. So let's dive into it. We have a lot to go over this morning, guys. We're going to talk about SPY yesterday. What happened in SPY yesterday? SPY was obviously a little choppy, right? But there was value. Okay. Yesterday, I took longs over this 65.08 ES. I longed right here on SPY and got a little bit of upside into 649.50, 650 and change. So not a big move here, but from 649.2 to 650 almost, a decent 70-80% move on SPY was my trade yesterday. And of course, these are not big trades. You're not going to get rich on a session like yesterday, but there is value, right? And that's the most important part is showing up. And who's to say that this stock wasn't going to go higher and do this, right? We didn't know that, but the market didn't do what it wanted you to do, and you got trailed out. And that's just what it was for me yesterday. Is a little bit of gains here and there, but we keep the swords sharpened, right? We keep the dagger sharpened, the knife sharpened, right? Whatever you want to call it, by showing up every day and taking stabs at when you see things set up. So that was SPY yesterday, and a little bit of choppy consolidated day. But again, we're still in the same range. We'll talk about the same range today. We'll go over the Q's chart, QQQ, 581 is your key pivot. which we discussed a little bit yesterday, and we're going to discuss that more today here in tech, is that QQQ 581. ES was all about 6508. 6508 was your bull bear pivot. You saw some opening bell rejections here at 6508. You can see it, right? Just a very technical day yesterday. It was not trendy, but it was technical. And this is what I love about the market is even when the market's not trendy, it usually still is technical. Or you can see 6508, 6508 rejections. And then finally, we held 6508. And this was your long entry yesterday, was the hold over 6508. And you got a little bit of upside in the highs. But then again, we failed back lower and we trended back into our opening price all session. So a little bit of a choppy day yesterday. But of course, there were some things that were moving. And one of the names that was really moving yesterday was one of these small names that we mentioned on live was Robinhood, right? Look at Hood, HOOD. This was one of the top watches yesterday off the gate. And you can see, look at the 110 break and hold off the market open. And this is something that you have to be aware of. Not all charts trade the same. You know, Robinhood doesn't trade the same way as say Apple or Amazon, right? They move differently. So this was a quick and easy breakout yesterday over 110 and 117, almost a level move. This was a name you could have traded yesterday, and we're going to talk about this today as well. We're going to go over Meta Shmeta. 760, a little bit of a 760 break and retest. It'll pop and fade. I think this is actually an interesting name to watch today. Is 760, 759. Can we get back above it? Very key pivot. We'll go over Amazon. I longed Amazon yesterday. A little bit of Amazon action yesterday for me. I longed Amazon right over on this candle here. Right there is where I longed. No, sorry, here is where I longed Amazon at 236. Went down to 235.8, and then I got moving to 236.70, and I just full sold and walked away. That was a little bit of Amazon action yesterday. Amazon's still choppy today, but we'll talk about what Amazon can do today's session if there is any potential setups. Of course, we also have an Apple event today, so we'll go over Apple, and we'll have a nice pre-market session. So let's dive into something quickly. I want to show you this briefly. Remember what I said about the Econ data or the earnings reports this week? Ready for the earnings reports? Ready for it? Bam, not important. Okay, so we know that today's session is mostly going to be about our Apple event. And it's also going to be about our data, which is on tomorrow's session, PPI final demand. So we have PPI, producer price index. That, of course, is the inflation index for producers. So you know that's what the market's waiting for, right? Monday session, Tuesday session. If you're wondering why you're not getting 100% trades on Monday and Tuesday, well, it's you're staring at it right in front of you, right? This is the reason why. It starts with a P, it ends with an I. It starts with a C, it ends with an I. PPI, CPI, that's just what it is, okay? So just be aware of that big data, both Wednesday and Thursday session, okay? That being said, we can dive into our charts today. I want some confirmation though. Can somebody please let me know in the chat, what time is the Apple event today? Because there is an Apple event today. There's an Apple iPhone release event today. They'll be launching the new I think it's iPhone 17, and it's a series of iPhone 17 models, including the iPhone Apple Air. I think it's called. I don't know what it's something with the Air, some sort of Air thing. 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so that's the event today, right? So screw all the Econ data. The event today that traders are watching out for, it's going to be Apple, and Apple is historically a big mover into this event and during the event. So be careful. Watch Apple, see what it does. Apple is going to be the super titan to watch today's session, the super titan of tech to watch this morning session. Okay. Right. So that being said, there's also a Hood event, Robinhood event. Okay, interesting. There's also a Robinhood event today. So some big company specific events today's session, which I think is going to be interesting. Right. So let's dive into our charts. I want to spend time going over our charts today. I'll make my face a bit smaller so we can focus in on the actual technicals here, and we'll dive into it. So what's going on in the chat? Like and subscribe. Yes, I agree. How many subs? How many likes do we have? We had 344 likes, guys. 344 likes with almost 1,000 viewers. We're at 900 something viewers here, and we have 344 likes, which means I'm a little bit over 30% like to view count. I like to be at least 50%, guys. Get the like count up. I don't know what it does. Does it even do anything? But I think it's a metric I like to work on. So just get the like count up, guys, and let's move on to our charts. So the first chart of the day obviously is going to be SPY, as it always is. And yesterday, I mean, pretty uneventful. It was pretty uneventful, right? You can see that the market just basically stayed in between two key levels. Level one was our 647 demand below, which was our hold spot from Friday. You can see this little retention spot here Friday, 647, 647, 647, 647. The level we maintained on Friday session, 647. We held above it on our Monday morning. Okay, we turned that into support. And obviously, right, this chart is mostly bull-sided here, I would say. I would say this is mostly bull-sided as long as we're holding really 643 and now 647. Remember I said something important yesterday? I said something important that, I said if we were above 643, the market's bullish. And the reason why I said that was because we were doing this. We have a higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. And now we just formed another higher low here at 647. So for me this morning, it's no longer so much. 643 is really important. It is still very important. But intraday, it's actually for me now 647. So for me this morning, 647 is my bull bear pivot. If we do this today, then I am looking for shorts on the market for a downside play back into 643. That's just what it is. My top watch for shorts is going to be a move under 647. But as of right now, the market's actually sustaining here. Okay. And as long as we're sustaining 647, I'm looking for longs in the market. And I'll be looking for maybe plays like this or even plays like this. This is my main focus this morning is longs as long as we are above 647. If we lose a 647 level, then probably shorts back down into demand lows here. That's just what it is today here on this pie chart. Okay. Now, yesterday, we took longs above this level here. If you guys recall, if you are with us on live trading, I took longs I think it was around 11:20, 11:15. Right? It was 11:20 right over here. I took long 11:20, and the reason why was because we did have a hold spot here on the ES chart, and this is a level that we have here on the ES chart, but it's not so clear here on SPY. So the question is what is the level? Is it 649? It is 649. So the level today to add to your chart here on SPY, which we didn't really discuss in much detail yesterday on SPY. We spoke about it on ES, which is at 6508. You can see here 6508 was that major 15-minute, 1 hour pivot. Remember the major level we said? Like the major colossal zone, right? 6508, 6508, 6508. Well, we had a problem where we said, remember that the SPY and ES were discrepant. And we said that, even though that longs are valid on the ES chart above 6508, which they were, right? You saw longs did actually work out quite nicely above 6508. You saw a pretty decent upside move here. That it was hard to find that same level here on SPY's chart. So what I think is important today's session is we do make the addition for that, okay? And this is important, is sometimes you have to make these adjustments. And today, my adjustment here following our Monday morning trading session was adding 649 as a level. So we have 649 as a key level here on the S&P. And for me this morning, it is about 647, but it's also about 649 too, because 649 was at 6508 ES level. What I'll do is I'll write this out, 6508 ES 6508 is your key level, which is equivalent to our SPY 649. So this morning, the only trades I'd be focusing on today, right? This is what I'd be looking for. Either scenario one, a hold above 650 for upside, right? Or like I said before, a 647 pullback long, which would be a long trade for our session ahead of us. But then I mentioned before shorts under 647 for a move back down to 643, but there is also trading with 649. So again, we're just trading in a tight range here. So it's a lot of different things, a lot of moving parts here, but you can also trade with 649 as your base as well. Okay. So if you're looking, and again, now people are probably going to be making fun of me in the chat, like, Brett, you're giving us like 7 different scenarios here. But yeah, I am. That's what's happening right now, right? So right now we are in a scenario where there's so many different things that can happen because the market's just bound up. 649 is my key pivot. So if you're looking for shorts today, I don't want any shorts in the market. This is my most important thing I'm going to say is I don't like any shorts today as long as we're above 649. Okay. If we're above 649, we're bullish. It's just, that's what it is. Okay. Don't short as long as we're above 649. We're probably going to rally higher. If you see us lose 649, I know I just said we're still bullish. It's true. We are still bullish, but you can scalp us back down into 647. So again, the scenario tree is scenarioing, right? There's a lot of scenarios this morning. But if you're looking for shorts, it has to be this or it has to be that. Those are the only shorts I'm watching today to be as transparent as possible. The only longs I'm watching today are going to be either above 650, a 647 pullback long, and that's just really what it is for me today. So basically upside trades above highs above 650 or a pullback long to 647, or a downside trade under 647, so 649, or a downside trade under 647. Okay, those are the two things I'm watching this morning, both for upside and for downside. And again, usually we don't have this many number of scenarios, but this morning that's what we have. It's what we have. We can't change that. Okay, and here in the ES chart, you can see why we have those scenarios. Yesterday we were long above 65.08. So today's session, if you do see us lose 65.08, which would be our equivalent of SPY 649, you're gonna see downside, right? That's just what it is. And if you are a new trader and you think this is confusing, and you're like, Brett, like this is confusing me, well, you're not wrong. This is confusing. Sometimes trading is confusing, and that probably means this is a chart you should not touch today, right? If the scenarios we're giving here are confusing and it's not clear, then don't trade that ticker, trade something else. Trade the NASDAQ, trade Robinhood, trade Apple, trade Amazon, because those charts will have more clear trend. And when they're more clear trend, the scenarios are far fewer. Okay, when the market is chopping and is consolidated, there are a lot more basically scenarios, because we just don't know which direction it's going to break yet. So again, here in the ES chart, maybe stay away from it if you're not ready for it. But if you are ready and you want to trade the scenarios, look for a failure under 65.08. If you see us fail under 65.08, there is a short potential here on the ES chart back down into our yesterday's lows, 64.91. Okay, 64.91 is your next key level. Under 64.91, it's back down into 64.60, which again would be your next pivot. So for me, this ES low yesterday, 64.90, that is the equivalent of our SPY 647, right? And I'm not going to try to simplify this for you guys. This is just what it is. 647 is your downside level. Also, SPY 649, which is our 65.08 level. That's your next big level. So basically, two levels of demand below us. 649 demand, 647 demand, 65.08, 64.90. If you see us break under our 65.08, you can look for a short side play back into 647. Likewise, if you see us break under 647, you could see a short side play back into 64.60. Those are the two things I'm watching today for shorts. And for longs, it's really just this. I want this to hold today, 649. If it holds, I'm looking for upside trades back in the highs here, 65.30 as your next big level here on the pre-market session here from Friday's session. And the big failure point, the big upside, look above and fail below level, 65.30. That's where we're headed to, because if you see us maintain 649 today, you know where we're going. We're going back into this high here at 65.30. So again, I know this is that's not so clear, but it's important we know our levels and we know the scenarios that are in front of us. Okay, so again, 649, 647, 65.08, 64.90. I'm equating SPY here to yes as best as I can. Okay, on the QQQ chart, this to me is more clear. This is what's important. Okay, if you want a chart that's more clear, watch tech today, because tech is unbelievably clear. You can see here we have a supply in front of us at 581. You know this, right? You know very easily that you do not want to be long in a 581. If you're looking for longs today here on the tech side, on the QQQ side, it's got to be a break and hold over 581, because if you clear 581, you're going into 583. That's just what it is today. Okay, above that 581, upside back into 583, a break of the Friday's highs, a break of the Monday's highs sends us higher on a bull flag play trade into 583. So this could be a easy long side trade going into our our Tuesday morning session. Okay, the secondary trade I'd be watching for here on Qs is I would look for shorts under 578. If we lose 578 here, Thursday's highs, the breakdown level from Friday, and the lows of Monday, we're going into 575. So you just created yourself the easiest level to trade with, easiest set of levels to trade with. And what that means is everything in between here is the graveyard zone. So you know if you are trading and getting involved here in the graveyard zone, you're probably headed to the graveyard, right? As a trader, you do not want to be trading in this channel. This to me is a graveyard zone. If we can break above the channel, we go into highs. If you break below the channel, we're going into lows. That's what it is. 575, 583. This is a very clear chart. If you want clarity, focus on the Qs today, focus on the tech, focus on the NASDAQ. That's just what it is, okay? So moving on, I think we now are ready to move on to individual names today. Let's start off with the first ticker today's session, Robinhood. Something that I've been trying to do with you guys is show you the top ones that I think have value. and not just go over the random ones first. So we do the top ones that have value off the gate, maybe the top 5 or 6 that actually seem to have some oomph to it. And Robinhood was one of those. We said Robinhood had the S&P 500 inclusion. If you guys follow my Instagram yesterday, or I think it was maybe on Sunday night, I posted about this as well, about the S&P 500 inclusion here on this chart. And if you cleared 110, that we're going to 117.60. And I mean, you can look at the chart. This chart has been untouched since yesterday's session. We didn't touch this. This is the same thing to the penny, 117.61. I don't know why it's 0.161, but that's just what it is. We broke above 110 and we rallied to our level here, and that's the high we produced. Now, today's session here on Robinhood, what do you want to do? Do you want to chase this today, or do you want to look for a pullback long? My best advice here on Robinhood is going to be, do not chase this back into the mega triceratops top here, okay? I don't even know. Remember we said yesterday the pentatop? I don't care what it is, whatever you want to call it. All I know is we have a lot of levels here, okay? We have rejections, 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 rejections. We're not going to come in today and say the 7th time's a charm, the 6th time's a charm. We're not going to do that, right? And sure, it may be it, but if you're trading this today, you're looking for 2 scenarios. And the scenario that I'd be focusing on the most is going to be the pullback long backdoor demand zone. My demand zone today here on Robinhood is 110. Look for the pullback long here to 110, 110 pullback long, bam, bam, that's what it is, okay? 110 previous session highs, the after hours session highs here from Friday, the breakout level on Monday. If we do pull back to 110, this would be an incredibly beautiful long opportunity going into our Tuesday session. Likewise, I said we can't chase it into 117.60, but if you want to get spicy today, and trust me, I don't know if you want to get spicy today, because some days you want to get spicy. If it's a Friday, you're up $7,000 in the week, you want to put $500 up a little bit, take a little bit of a risky trade. Sure, get spicy, but it's Tuesday. It's not a Friday. So I don't know if you want to get spicy, but if you do want to get spicy, you're watching for a long opportunity here above 117, because 117, obviously 117.60 is your major all-time high level. And if you do get a break and hold above 117.60, you could look for that continuation play higher. Again, the question mark is, where does it go to? Probably 120. That's where the next big option strike here on Robinhood is 120. So if we do break 117.60, I argue that we go to 117.60. But again, this is a spicy trade. This is not a trade you should be trading on your $340 account, right? You should be doing this after you are up, a decent amount of money in the week. Let's just say you're up $500 in the week and you want to risk $100 here in Robinhood. Sure, do it, right? Take the risk. Above 117.60 would be a little bit of a riskier trade here, but this could be a nice trade in the highs. So watching this today, 110 pullback top watch, but above 117.60 for a secondary watch. Okay, Apple. Apple has a major event today. This is the iPhone event. And you guys know in the chat, people were telling me a little bit about maybe 5 minutes ago, the Apple event is at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This morning, we have 2 sets of levels to watch here in Apple, and it's the same thing as it was yesterday. Level 1 is 234. You can see the high that we produced. What was it? This high was produced here from Thursday the 14th and Wednesday the 13th. If we can break above, or we can pull back that level, which you already broke above, obviously, but if you can pull back to that level 234, I'm looking for a long opportunity there. And again, this would be a retracement level 2. I could be wrong here, but this is it is my retracement level. So around this 38, it's not perfect. I mean, to be honest, this is not perfect, but I would be watching 234 as I pull back long today. If we can pull back to 234, I'm looking for that demand bounce. Likewise, if we clear above that 240 area, I'm looking for longs. So above 240, upside trade here, back into 245, or looking for that 234 demand bounce here, which would be my top watch for a demand bounce opportunity, okay? Now, again, I'm putting my neck on the line right now because Apple has an event today. And here's what's going to happen, okay? Sure, if Apple rips into our Apple event, right? And people come tomorrow morning, they say, Brett, wow, Apple ripped, you're right about it. Who knows, okay? Who knows? Apple may easily fail under 234 today. Of course, this is my demand zone. In normal conditions, this is the level I would go long at with no hesitations. But today's session, because of the Apple event, you may see it initially hold. But if it does, if the event is perceived bearish, let's just say investors perceive the event as bearish, the market could sell. And if we lose 234, we see 230 and possibly even 227. So, of course, right, don't quote me on Apple, right? Just trade it to your levels. And if you see the event coming in at 1 p.m. and you're still full port long Apple, then it's on you. Okay, so just be careful of Apple today. There is an event, but I am watching the 34 bounce. I'm also watching the 240 build today. Okay, that's what I'm looking for today's session here on Apple. Moving on, Amazon. So Amazon was a long yesterday. Did anybody actually trade Amazon? I posted Amazon in the chat. I don't know if anyone traded it. I took a little bit of this yesterday. I think I made like $500. I don't think it was like a big. I didn't really make much on this chart, but this was a little bit of a scalper yesterday. Was just a little bit of a pullback long to our 235.50 area, right? So you saw a demand build up over here on Amazon, 235.50. And you see demand from the highs of Thursday, from the highs of that Friday session. And of course, we saw the breakout here on Monday morning breakout, pullback long retest here, 235.50. This is your long yesterday on Amazon, back into highs. And that was a trade yesterday. And the question today is, what can we do here this morning? This morning on Amazon, I'm watching for one of two things. I'm watching for either a pullback to my demand zone 232. If we pull back to 232 today, I'm looking for longs there, very simply, a long opportunity here 232. Or I'm looking for a hold here above 237.50, above our highs of yesterday's session for a long opportunity back into 240 plus. Both trades I'm watching today. This is also a top watch for me this morning. Amazon is a top watch above these highs, above 237.50 for longs, or the pullback long here at 232. Those are the two things I'm going for here on this Tuesday morning. Okay, moving on. Tesla's chart. Tesla rejections yesterday. So we spoke about this upside trade. Obviously didn't really pan out. It didn't break out, didn't do anything. If I'm looking for anything today here on Tesla, I'm looking for the break and hold above 360. It's what it is, guys. Nothing's changed here from yesterday into today's session. If I'm watching for anything this morning, it's going to be a 360 breakout above 360 for longs, looking for a long side trade back into 380. Okay. Again, this may happen later this week. I'm keeping this in the back burner, but of course, this is still a top watch for me. It just has to set up. So watching 360 breakout, of course, where does it go to? If it clears 360, we're going back into these highs over here at 367. So a $7 upside trade here above our 360 level, looking for that to happen here above that zone. Okay. Moving on. Let's move on, guys. We're going to move on to the next ticker today's session. Let's go over Nvidia. So Nvidia, a little bit of some build back, right? You guys saw some build yesterday here in Nvidia, and I said watch semis, pay close attention to semis. And Nvidia was the first semi that actually began showing a little bit of strength yesterday, but the semis were short-lived. It wasn't that much, it wasn't serious upside here. Okay, you saw semis push to 170, but then begin fading. And in my opinion, I didn't really see anything of interest here yet. If I'm looking for anything here on this Nvidia chart, I'd be looking for a 170 build. If we build a 170, I think we can see 172. That's your first watch here on Nvidia. Likewise, above 172, if you clear 172, this is an extremely high conviction long back into 178. I absolutely love this trade if we do get above 172. Above 170 is a scalpable trade back in 172. You're not marrying into longs here. You're not going to be, getting rich off of a $2 move on Nvidia. But if you do see a 172 breakout, in my opinion, that's where things become a bit more excited, right? This is an exciting stock, and I think this can go back into 178. So mostly watching for longs now on Nvidia, which is interesting because this is still a weak stock. So maybe I'm wrong about this, but for me, I'm mostly focused to see, can we get back above these levels? And of course, if it just does this today, right, I don't care. I have no intention of trading it like that, right? The only long I would trade today would be a move above 170 or a move above 172 as my next levels of major breakouts, okay? If you do pull back today, 164 probably is where we head to. 164 is our key demand below. Do not be short back at 164, okay? 164 is a very big level, right? Let's move on, guys. I want to move on to AMD. AMD is still weak. And remember what I said yesterday about the Fibonacci zone? I said there's still a rejection play here setting up. I'm going to do something fantastic here. Ready for this? This is going to solve so much agita for all of us. I'm going to do the plus icon over here, plus icon, add alert 157.25. If I see that short trigger, send an alert to my phone, I'm probably looking for shorts here in AMD. That's just what I'm focusing on. Okay, so for me, my supply zone here is still 157, 158. If we can pull back into the supply zone, I'm looking for that beautiful pop and fade today, pop and fade downside trade. This is still a short, and I'll be looking for that to happen. So again, kind of interesting that I'm talking about shorts on AMD still, but Nvidia, I'm talking about longs. So I'm going to be right about one of these. I'm going to be wrong about one of them. So let's see what happens. Again, it takes time to find things out. Okay, Monday morning was a data collecting day, and we sort of collected our data. We kind of saw some strength coming on Nvidia, and this is the important thing is Nvidia had strength, but AMD didn't. And I think that if we're going to trade this today here on AMD, you're looking still for the pop and fade short. That's just what it is. Pop and fade short, pop and fade short, pop and fade short, pop and fade short. Watching this today as a high conviction rejection play if it does happen on our Tuesday morning. Okay, so keeping that on the side burner as well. Okay, so let's move on to our next chart. Let's go over a few more. It's 9:04. Someone just said Robinhood. Christopher, you're a day late and a dollar short, man. We already went over Robinhood was the first ticker we went today's session, so we're not going to go over that. But if you go back to the live stream before, you'll find out. I think it was probably about 10 minutes ago. Okay, PLTR 161. Nothing's changed here. Nothing's changed here, right? No updates here. No reason to talk about this, right? 161 is your key level. That's your key resistance this morning. 161. Moving on, CMG. What's going on with CMG? Oh, you know what? UNH better. UNH. Look at this UNH chart, guys. Do you see it? A little bit of gap fill potential here in UNH. Anybody keeping an eye on UNH this morning? I think this is something to keep an eye out on, right? This is a weekly low volume node here. Look at this weekly look at this node. Let's just take a second here. And look what's going on here in UNH. Well, everybody's focused on Nvidia and Tesla and Robinhood. Look at what's going on here on the UNH stock. You can see here a very low volume node between 326 and I would say the next high volume around 386. So you have a lot of upside potential here on UNH here on the weekly time frame, and we are breaking above it. Okay, you see a nice strong maintenance above this level here. I would say the level is very clearly 326. You can see 326 as your pivot. You can see highs produced here at 324, highs produced here at 326, and then the break at level 326. So you know this is actually quite an interesting chart, okay? Because if you see us begin to maintain above this set of highs, right, we're gonna begin to fill a gap back into 386, right back into 386. So back into 386 is the next big level. Keep an eye out on this low volume node build, because if we do maintain here, you know where we're going to 386. So very bullish chart here in UNH, and as long as we maintain above 324, we are going to go higher into 386. Okay. That being said, I think we can call it here, guys. We had a beautiful Tuesday morning session. Let's call it here. That's my top watch, guys. I usually go over other names, but today's session we're a little bit slower. So let's end it here, and I'll see you guys all for live trading. Have a happy and safe trading session. Again, remember, expect choppy conditions Monday, Tuesday. I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are when things begin to pick up. So don't go crazy today. Just cash flow. Still look for trades. Still execute. Don't be hesitant. But if you get a good trade, walk away. That's just what it is. Guys, I'll see you all for live trading.